Exactly. And it takes experimenting, being willing to try it and fail. But when you do that, when you narrow down, that allows you to go deep and wide with your audience. And when you do that, you can see and hear them because you're reaching a very specific group of people, as opposed to just shooting all of it and just hoping, it just lands on somebody.
Oh, that's so
those would be two urgent but simple things I think that people can apply.
Yeah.
Talk to your audience and then
to your audience.
Vehicle.
So huge.
Vehicle. Yeah.
So let's peel back a couple more layers with talking to your audience. All right, because I think this is just incredibly important. Mm-hmm. And again, most people do not do it. So what do you recommend? Do you recommend like a survey? Do you recommend like Zoom calls? Like what would be a good step to help our audience move forward on that?
Yeah, it depends on how big your audience is. And so you can do a survey if you have, I'd say 50 people, maybe or more that are going to
that are actually going to fill it out.
Yeah. But otherwise, those one-on-one conversations, and the beauty in that is that those conversations, you don't have to be the one to lead them. You can hire somebody to do it for you. Have a team member that has a little bit of distance, let them do it. Back to that idea of narrative therapy, there's a concept of, I think it's called outsider witness, where somebody else sits in and listens to what the person in counseling is talking about, and they give another perspective to help the person in counseling see in a broader way, and that leads to healing. Same thing, like you're finding an outsider witness who can step in and hear maybe even those hard things and dig deeper with the client. Like if I'm on the conversation with the client and they tell me, well, Lindsay, you did X. If I don't have broad enough shoulders, it may be hard for me to keep digging in deeper. Like at that point, I may just want to be like, oh my word, like I'm going to be so floored that I just want to get off the phone. So having somebody else do that, and just it's simple questions. These aren't like deep conversation questions. You're asking for 20 minutes max of their time, asking questions like, what was going on in your world that caused you to connect with Lindsay? What happened as a result of connecting with her? What could have gone better? Questions like, what can Lindsay learn from others in her space? And I have all of these questions in the resource that people can download.
Hear that.
Yeah, there's a resource, and in that resource is a link where they can grab these questions, and they're just really simple questions. And so you have it. Usually I just ask for a phone call. I don't ask clients to get on Zoom with me.
Okay.
Because it's just like Zoom can be one more barrier. I want to make it as easy as possible. Yeah. And so if they want to do Zoom, awesome. That's what we do. But I don't make that like a prerequisite. It's how can you make this conversation easy, make it quick, let them know what the questions are going to be in advance, because nobody wants to say yes to surprises. Right. And then even if you're just talking to 3 to 5, oftentimes for when I'm doing work for clients, I'll just ask to talk to 3 to 5 of their clients.
And that's what you did for me.
And then I start to see common themes, common phrases. The research term is saturation. Once you see that the saturation in responses, you know that you probably have a collective idea. And so that's what you look for, whether it's in a survey, whether it is in interviews that you do, you're looking for commonalities that people are saying. And then those are the pieces that you bring out to inform your messaging and your offers.
Okay. I love that. I think that is a great next step for, I think, pretty much everyone who's listening and watching today. I think that, setting up some of these calls with, just pick a handful of clients. And a great action step would be, first of all, download Lindsay's guide. I've got the URL on your screen. It's Lindsay, Lindsay lindsyhotmire.com/brand-story-guide. So download the guide, get the questions, and then I would highly recommend that you set up these informational calls with a handful of clients, and then just start to look, or you could have, a team member do it if that makes you feel more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a virtual assistant or, someone that can run these calls for you. I do think that could be advantageous, right? It seems like people, might tend to be a little bit more forthcoming, if it's not, if they're not talking directly to you.
Yep.
And then, okay, so we get data, we get information, and then it sounds like according to what you're sharing today, Lindsay, we start to look for the things that we're hearing repetitively, right?
Right. Yep. Those themes, maybe think of it in terms of like shared experiences. And so, people are describing, whether they're describing struggles, similar pain points, similar problem stories, similar preferred stories. Mm-hmm. And then you look at your own storyline and you start to say, okay, Sally feels like this is a time where I felt that exact same thing. And so that might be an experience that you start to bring into your messaging, or those are struggles that you address in your, whether it's in your website messaging, or maybe it's blog posts that you write, or a workshop that you offer, or social media posts, that is just this gold for you could generate a year's worth of relevant content based on these interviews alone.
Oh, so good. So good. That is like a juicy nugget. Because quite often people really struggle with, oh my God, what do I write about? Right? Like I can't think of
that goes back to the authenticity piece of, it is that struggle of what do I write about? And so then we turn out these like basic pieces,
right?
Because instead of going deep, instead of realizing, you know what, Sally struggles with X, and so I'm going to address that, or I'm going to reframe. Like their problem. This is another thing. What we find out with our audience is that oftentimes their problem is not really what they need, right? As the expert, not just the guide, but as the expert, they're going to often be coming to us saying, I want to go on a diet. But as a nutrition coach or a nutrition expert, we know that the problem isn't the diet. The problem is maybe mindset and eating patterns, habits they're falling into, and maybe childhood storylines, like all these things. And so maybe on the surface, like this is a great time for you to step in and reframe something in a unique way. And so you might grab their attention by talking about diet because that's what they think they need.
Right.
And
I love that.
Frame it. It's not just a diet like traditionally, but it's a diet of mindset. It's a diet of habitual thinking. It's a diet of, C, D, and E, whatever those things are. It's that idea of, a colleague had said this to me, and it's not his advice. I've heard it many times since, but he was talking to me about his business, and it completely reframed how I structured my own. He said, Lindsay, we sell to our clients what they think they need.
Yes.
And then we put in that what we know they need. But that's not what they're leading with. You don't lead with what you know they need, because it's so like they're not at that level yet. Right.
Or it's not what they think they want. Yeah, that is so true. And I see that all the time, right? Like we have to lead with what the client thinks what they want, right? Mm-hmm. What they actually do want. And then in our content, in our work, we have to deliver both, right? We do have to deliver on, what they want, because that's, how we kind of snag them, right? But we also have to deliver what we know they need in order to be successful.
Yes.
I love that.
I think that's the concept of the guide. I might hire a guide because I want to climb Everest. And so he's going to pull me in with the promise of, work with me. I'll show you how to climb Everest. But he knows in that year or 3 years that I'm training with him, there's going to be hell to pay, right? But he doesn't say, like he's not leading with that. He's leading with the promise. He's leading with that preferred story that I want. And then because he's my guide, because he's holding my hand, because he's linked arm in arm on that path with me, he's able to show me exactly what it is that I really need. And that's authenticity. But you can't be that unless you're the guide. You've got to be the guide.
So good. Wow. So many golden nuggets. So guys, I want to remind you, grab Lindsay's guide. You can see the URL on your screen. Go ahead and grab that. And again, I would just say your next step is set up some of these interviews with your clients. Do a little market research. It is amazing. And, why not just plan to do it every year, right?
Absolutely.
It is, things change, language, like it's just so interesting how things shift. And it can just be so incredibly helpful for you to create new, not only your story, but also just to get ideas for, new services, maybe new services or, new courses, new programs, or taking your current set of programs or services and giving them a little bit of a facelift, right? So I find that to be incredibly helpful. Or if you're looking for some ideas on a course, which I know many of you are, it is incredibly helpful. And I can definitely attest to this. When you get conversations set up with your clients or you do a survey, it'll help validate your idea or make you realize, I thought I was going to go in this direction, but actually I think I need to, change, kind of course correct, right? Which is incredibly powerful. So then you're going to have the confidence to know that you are on the right track. So as we start to wrap up today, Lindsay, is there any, final words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Yeah, just maybe real quick on those interviews. Sometimes with clients, I'll run into, if they're new enough in business, Lindsay, I don't have any clients. What do I do?
Right.
Then I talk to their partners. I talk to their friends. I talk to other people in their sphere. So you don't have to just limit it to your clients. Depending on where you're at in developing your message and building out your business, it may be more appropriate for you to connect with people who are just in your sphere of influence, or people who are your ideal clients who have maybe been in this market but haven't been with you specifically. And so you'll tweak your questions, but you're still gathering information. So that's just a big piece. Like, don't let no access to clients stop you from having conversations. The other piece real quick with the brand story guide, the exercises in that are really designed to help you thicken out that storyline. That's what these exercises are. It's not a template for you to write your own brand story. It's a way for you to find those pieces that need to make their way into your brand story.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Super helpful. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Lindsay, so very much. Really appreciate you sharing all of these ideas and strategies and your wisdom with our audience today. And really, really happy to have you. And I wanted to mention that mark your calendars for May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 7 p.m. Central. I think we're going to go with Central, 7 p.m. Central. I'm going to be launching a brand new challenge. And it's going to be on how to create funnels. So more to come on that. So just stay tuned. And so we're going to have some fun with that. All right. So it was great spending time with you. Thanks again, Lindsay. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Same place, same time. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.